Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. Okay, what do we have for you on today's episode? I have a few clips to watch in regards to the so-called honkening, the situation in Canada with the truckers, and something else appears to be afoot in the United States. Something similar, yeah? People have basically had enough. And this has been coming for a long time. And I mean this in a non-violent way, okay? What I'm saying is, for too long, politicians in the Western Hemisphere have been labouring under the pretense that they're all-powerful, godlike beings, the opposite of what a public servant is. Like Scott Morrison in Australia, for example, Boris Johnson here, Trudeau over there, Biden in Canada, the United States, and Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand. They act as if they are the arbiters of reality. They are the arbiters of everything that moves. That's not a public servant, right? And truckers in Canada are trying to get the point home that Canada needs truckers more than they need globalist politicians, right? And I think that message is getting home. So let's get into this video. If you haven't yet though, please like the video, subscribe to the Hoggcast, hit the notification bell and share the video around. Those simple things can help us combat the crippling shadow banning and deboosting we are suffering here at the Hoggcast, because we are the underdog and we are conservative commentators. We also have a membership scheme which you can join. I have 8 amazing, beautiful members who honour and humble me that they value the Hoggcast and my commentary enough that they become members of the channel. There's a join button down below which you can do that, and a link in the description, but you don't have to, of course. Okay, let's go. So first we have this guy. This is the Premier of Alberta. I believe his name is Kennedy. Let's see what he has to say. He's basically he's on commission. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on commission, right?
We're briefed that on Saturday, approximately 10,000 trucks and other vehicles began a moving convoy around the Coutts border station, and police closely monitored the situation, believing at first that it was an effort to engage in a lawful protest without blocking the road. Let me quote from a statement issued by the RCMP K Division earlier today. What may have begun as a peaceful assembly quickly turned into an unlawful blockade. While the Alberta RCMP has been in a position to conduct enforcement, we've been engaged with protesters at the Coutts border crossing in an effort to find a peaceful and safe resolution for all involved.
Well, here's an idea. Why don't you just listen to them? Right, what happened? What has gone wrong? You know, Canada is a notoriously docile country. They're notoriously docile people. You know, it's just, oh well, the government says do this, let's do it. You know, they don't stop to think about anything, yeah? But if a situation has gotten so bad that over 10,000 truckers in Canada, of all places, have blockaded the routes in and out of Canada from the United States, bearing in mind, okay, that he's saying, oh well, it started off as peaceful. I mean, it still is peaceful. To blockade the border isn't, or the roads in and out, isn't necessarily a non-peaceful gesture. But they're truckers. They're trying to show you that you need them. Because at the moment, these jumped-up politicians are labouring, and it's not just Canada, it's across the Western Hemisphere. You are labouring under the pretense that it's us that need you, right? When you politicians are just parasites, really, yeah? So they are blockading some of the roads in and out of Canada to the United States to show you, because if they didn't, saying if they just drove up and down the road, you wouldn't do anything, right? You would just lament them, you would insult them, and then you just carry on as normal. Why is it okay for you to do extremely nefarious things against your own people? You try and punish them for having their own opinions, their own thoughts, wanting to control their own bodies. Yet when the truckers do what is good for them, suddenly there's an issue. Suddenly you're holier than thou. Yeah?
We thought we had a path to resolution, the protesters eventually chose not to comply. As of this morning, further action is being taken by the Alberta RCMP as this blockade continues to impede the ability for emergency agencies to provide full services to area residents.
So you can see that the way they're wording it, and you can hear in his voice, is kind of like, because he knows the people are on the side of the truckers, but they're framing it in a, oh, these people are causing widespread destruction. You've already seen the hit pieces where they said they've been stealing food and desecrating memorials. You had no... that was on MSNBC and some of the others. But you mainstream media types, you have no right accusing anyone else of doing that. Because you was all for it when the three-letter organisations, you know, the usual suspects from the usual left-wing three-letter organisations. Remember when they were doing that? Remember when they were decapitating statues, war memorials? You had no problem with it, right? Now truckers are driving up and down the street. Suddenly you've grown some sort of moral code. Pull the other one, man. So this next clip, these are people from Ottawa City Council. So these, I believe, are councillors. They're from the Ottawa City Council. Let's see what they've got to say about the truckers. And remember, these people would quickly starve if it wasn't for truckers. These councillors, these politicians, they aren't going to go hunting food. They aren't going to work in the fields and toil in the fields. You understand what I mean? If it wasn't for the truckers delivering what you need to your local Starbucks or your local insert local national high-end retailer, yeah? If it wasn't for the trucks delivering them, what would you do? You wouldn't do it. You need them. They don't need you. This is what you don't get, you politicians. You don't get it. Anyway, look, let's see what they've got to say.
The mayor, if he will pick up the phone and call GoFundMe in the States directly and demand that they cease and desist sending money to these unlawful protesters.
All of these people sound very like they're trying to force the words out. I think they know deep down that you are against your own people. I think it's starting to resonate with them, but being leftists, they can only do what leftists do. So it's attack, attack, attack. You see the people who are, quote, funding these, quote, protesters, right? It's ordinary people, ordinary Joe. The guy in the house next door to me could be quote, funding them for all you know. Yeah, do you see what I mean? We should go after the people who fund you, your special interest groups, these NGOs, you know, these organisations that appear out of nowhere, yeah? These globalist organisations. They're the ones that need to be investigated.
And perhaps while he's at it, he could pick up the phone and ask the Prime Minister to do the same. We've had some conversations about perhaps suing GoFundMe, but legal action takes time, and this is urgent. We need to cut off the pipeline of funding to these.
You see how wavery her voice is? These are scared people, but not scared in a bad way. I mean that they are concerned that their racket is going to collapse. They're not scared for society. They're not scared for you, of course. They're scared for themselves, right? I think they've painted themselves into a corner and they know it, but being leftists, all they can do is attack. It's all they can do. It's just silence this person, stop the funding for that person, do this, do that, shadow ban that person. It's all they can. It's their answer to everything. They've tried all the usual stuff: the smearing, the lying, the cheating, all of the usual play tactics from left-wing politicians. They've tried it and it hasn't worked. They should keep that blockade up until you realise, and when I say you, I mean these politicians, you realise that you need them. Who's going to fill up, who's going to bring the ingredients for your double latte, yeah, your $9 double cream latte, yeah? Who's going to bring the produce? Who's going to bring the milk, the cream, the coffee? Who's going to transport it? Do you really want to live without your double cream latte? I'm pretty sure you don't. So get with the program.
People that are unlawfully mercenaries, if you will, that are
people who are unlawfully, or right. Let's go back and listen to that again. Right, if you are a person, especially if you're Canadian and you're watching this, if you see this woman here, Diane Deans, if you trust a word that comes out of her mouth, you're a fool. You are a fool if you put your trust in this person. And this is a councillor. So she's describing, but she was all for the 3-letter usual suspects belonging to the organisations with the 3 letters. I'm sure you know what I mean. She was all for that when they were destroying people's homes and businesses and pulling down statues all over the place. That they were the best, right? But this is how she describes truckers who bring the ingredients to make her double cream latte. Yeah,
that are unlawfully mercenaries, if you will.
They are unlawfully mercenaries. They are unlawfully mercenaries. What a big-brained take that is. So what would the opposite be? A lawful mercenary? What can you explain to me what a lawful mercenary is? And can you explain to me the differences between a lawful mercenary and an unlawful mercenary? Can you explain to me what a mercenary is? I don't think you know what a mercenary is. Right, I don't think you actually know what you're talking about.
That are unlawfully protesting and occupying our communities.
Well, it's funny you say that, because you seem to be forgetting. She's got that wavery voice that they all have, yeah? You don't seem to understand that, you see, the people who actually make up the truckers, they come from the communities. The people you're talking about. Well, how does it make you feel, Diane Deans, that the people who you're lamenting are the people who are going to be voting whenever the next council elections come up, or however it works in Canada? Unlawful mercenaries. What a stupid thing to say. So next, I wanted to just show you the context around this, because I would never remember it if I just went to that and I had to say it off the top. So Sid Fizzard says, update on the Milk River police barrier. As select semi-trucks get let through, the supporters of the Coots blockade seem displeased that they are not given the same courtesy. Well, of course they're not. The idea is to... because there is still a lot of proles in Canada, like there is everywhere, yeah, in the West. They're probably hardworking, probably decent people who come home in the evening, turn on the, quote, evening news, and they think they're being informed accurately about the world around them. The reason why they're not letting them through, they want to make it... this is their tactic now. By whatever means necessary, they have to make it look in the eyes of the proles that it's only like 2 trucks or 3 trucks. Do you know what I mean? That's why in the mainstream media you don't see the photos and the videos of just endless lines of trucks. Instead you see like 1 or 2, and it'll be only the ones selected that will have like a you-know-what flag, a bad flag. We'll call them bad flags, and then the mainstream media will take a photo of that, and then they'll say, look at all these Islamist truckers. That's how the game's played for the proles, yeah.
As you can see right now, the police line is remaining firm. They were letting some through, but as they were letting truckers through, the protesters, the supporters here of the Coots blockade have been coming closer and closer, trying to make their way through this barricade as well. They are not successful at the moment. So far, everything is peaceful in that regard, but they are certainly doing everything in their might to stop any other travel from coming through this way. We've even got a tractor here, some massive equipment on this guy, blocking the highway straight across.
That's the end of the clip. So you can see that they're letting some through and some not. Why? I like I say, I have my opinion on why they're doing it. They'll let a couple through, easier to control and easier to paint a narrative around 2 trucks than a never-ending line of 10,000 trucks. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh look, there's 2 trucks. It's the narrative, and as you know, you don't need me to tell you this, for the left, For the globalists, the narrative is the message is the most important and integral part of their strategy, because they don't have reality or facts or reason or logic on their side. Instead, they have low cunning, cheating, lying, stealing, and all of it. Yeah. So I'm going to leave it there with the parting phrase, or the parting thought. It's a better way to describe it. Western nations have reached the point now where they are fighting against their own people. That's why when I see, like, with the whole situation in Ukraine, when you see Western politicians, particularly here, like Boris Johnson, with all the crap Boris Johnson's been doing over the last few years, especially over the last few months, and then he comes out making a strong condemnation of Russia and, you know, oh, how there's going to be this retaliation and there's going to be that sanction. And I look at it and I just laugh and I think, do you know what, Boris? Shut up. Do you think you intimidate anyone? Do you think you've turned Britain into a laughing stock? Yeah? And that's hard to do, especially when you have other Western nations competing for the world's biggest laughing stock, yeah? It's reached the point in the West where our governments are now fighting their own people. Yeah? Because they've forgotten. The politicians have forgotten who they are, who they serve, and what their role is supposed to be. They see us as peasants and they see themselves as lords. So I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.